When potential clients inquire about my agency services, one of the first questions I get is what type of equipment do I use to film my videos? Mainly, what type of camera to use. I'm in favor of keeping things simple and using what you have on hand, which actually means using your phone. But for those who want to step it up a bit and use something else, there's actually a new camera on the block that can help you, the Sony ZV1F. Before we get into the video, I want to let you know that this video is no way sponsored by Sony and all opinions are of my own. But if you're interested in actually checking the camera out yourself, I will drop my affiliate link down below so you can check it out. So let's go ahead and get into the tutorial and the review of the camera. Let's take a look at the camera up close and personal. So I want to reiterate that this camera is not meant to be an upgrade from its predecessor, the ZV1. This camera is an entry-level camera for people transitioning from their smartphone. So with that being said, let's go over a couple of things. With the Sony ZV1, you do have a lens that actually zooms, but with this camera, it does not zoom. So it's a fixed focal lens, but it's actually okay for people who are vlogging or who are doing talking head videos. It's more than enough. You'll also notice that this camera is actually pretty compact and pretty light compared to most smartphones. Another stunning thing you'll notice is that the camera is actually white. So this camera comes in black or white, and I chose white simply because I believe it looks good with my office decor and it's something different. So let's take a look at some of the buttons and some of the functions. So we'll see here we have this wind cover, and this is very important if you're going to be outside in a lot of windy conditions and you don't want that noise from that wind. This is the actual microphone, and you can use an external microphone if you wish, or you can just use the Sony microphone, the built-in microphone. I find that the Sony products are actually really good, and a lot of times you don't even need to use the external microphone, but you'll just have to test it out yourself to see if you like the sound quality with or without a microphone. So here's the on and off button. And then this right here is the mode button, so you can switch between camera, movie, and slow quick modes. This is the record button. This right here is going to allow you to zoom in and zoom out, even though it is a fixed lens, like I said, but you can still do a little bit of zooming in and out. And also here we have the custom one button. If we move to the side, we have a couple of ports. So this first port is where you would put your external microphone if you wanted to plug one of those in. And then we have this port here in order for you to charge. And this port here is your HDMI. It's going to allow you to transfer your files from your camera to your computer. Another cool thing about this is you can actually transfer your files directly to your phone via the Sony app. So let's take a look at the back. Open everything up here and you've got your screen. And you can turn it. All right, I'm gonna close that. And then we also have the buttons on the back, and you have your menu button, your function display, and you can turn this, and you also have your trash, and you have your playback. So I think the best way to show you what this camera can do is actually by taking it outside and going to play around with it and looking at the different features while it's in use. And so that's where we'll be going. We'll be going to the park and playing with the Sony ZV1F. So here we are at the park, and I just wanted to show off a couple of features of the camera while we're here. And what better way to do that than with a 4-year-old at the park? So first, I want to show you the autofocus feature of the camera. So autofocus is super important when you're looking at things and you're taking pictures and videos of things, and you want to make sure that the camera is quick on the focus. So I'm going to steal one of my daughter's cookies here and show you just how it works. You see when the cookie's up here, then everything in the background is blurred, and then it comes back into focus after it's removed. So another cool thing I want to show you, speaking about autofocus, is the background defocus. So as you can see, the background of the park here and everything is clear, but I'm going to go ahead and hit the button to show you what the background defocus looks like. So now you can see the background is a little bit out of focus, not completely out of focus, but a little bit out of focus. And here it is again with the background in focus. Hopefully you can see that difference. All right, so as you can tell, I'm walking right now, and actually the image stabilization is on, and that's very important when you're vlogging because you don't want a shaky camera, you don't want a shaky image. So the image stabilizer is on and it works really, really well. And here I'm going to go ahead and turn it off just to let you know what it looks like when you walk without the image stabilization. All right, so now I'm walking with the image. So now I'm walking with the image stabilization off, and maybe you can tell the difference between it being off and it being on. So it's really important when you're vlogging that if you're walking around, if you're doing anything with any kind of motion, that you don't want the camera to be shaky, you don't want your video footage to be shaky. So here's a good example of what it looks like with the image stabilization off. It's not an extremely bright day today, but it is bright enough that you can tell that the image quality is not the greatest, but you actually have the option with this camera is to add an ND filter. So I have an ND filter and I'm going to put it on, and I'm going to show you guys what it looks like with the ND filter on. Now you can see the image with the ND filter looks a whole lot better. It's not overexposed, it's not too bright, the colors are richer. So that is with and without an ND filter. So it's a nice, beautiful day at the park, and another feature of this camera is the mic. So the Sony cameras actually have very good mics, and I do not have an external mic on the camera right now, but I do have the windscreen on, and maybe you can hear these duckies in the background quacking. I'm going to go ahead and take off the windscreen just so you can hear what the audio quality sounds like without the windscreen and with it. So today's not a particularly windy day, but you may be able to still tell the difference with and without it. So I'm going to go ahead and take it off. So this is what the audio sounds like without the windscreen and with me walking around the park. And this is with the windscreen back on. We have a slight breeze here. Say hi, beautiful.
Hi.
This is my daughter. It's her YouTube debut, and she's decided to strike a couple poses for you while she's eating her Oreo.
Huh? Did you say Oreo?
I said Oreo. Aren't you eating an Oreo cookie? I think the focal length for this camera is actually really good, considering the fact that it's meant to be used as like a vlogging camera. So this is arm's length out, and this is without any zoom. If I zoom it in, yes, we get closer, but it's still not too close. So let me show you what it looks like zoomed in. So this is the max at which this camera can zoom in, and still a little bit up close and personal, but you know, the original setting I like better because you can get the full picture. Another thing that's awesome about this camera is that you can speed up your clips or you can slow them down. It goes all the way down to 1 frame per second and all the way up to 120 frames per second if you want super slow-mo. So I'm going to let you see both variations here with my daughter playing at the park.